Mariah Carey performed during New Year's Eve, and of course, there has been a lot of hubbub about her performance because of the fact that she just completely stopped performing in the middle. Now, we are not going to show you guys the video, but it's all over the internet, so feel free to check it out after you watch this video. But I'll describe it for those of you who don't want to look it up. So she's supposed to sing, and I guess the original plan was for her to lip sync, and that did not occur because the music in question was the instrumental version without the vocals.
Yeah.
And so
you could pretend to be one of the instruments, I guess, but that's not the same thing.
Yeah, so she kind of tried at first and then realized that it was the wrong music and then just kind of gave up and seemed pretty annoyed by it. Now, her publicist, Nicole Perna, told the Associated Press, unfortunately, there was nothing she could do to continue with the performance given the circumstances. Now, some of you might argue, yeah, there's something that she could have done. She could have sang, which is what singers are supposed to do.
But does she know the songs?
But look, the reality is Mariah Carey is... And it has nothing to do with her being older. It has to do with decades of using her vocal cords in a way that strains them beyond belief. And so I don't know if she has the ability to sing the way that she used to. I know that she was an incredible singer in her heyday, but that kind of singing does damage your vocal cords. And so who knows what kind of state her vocal cords are in now. Now, with that said, according to the AP, Perna, the publicist, said that Carey's earpiece wasn't working, and she flagged the issue to the production team, but was told it would be okay when she got on stage.
Well, if her earpiece wasn't working, then she couldn't hear that she wasn't singing. So she was totally unaware.
I like how the
that words weren't coming out of her mouth. It's like, hey, I'm getting static here. Am I singing or not?
I do find it interesting, though, that now the earpiece is the scapegoat for issues, right? Like, it happened with Trump during his campaign. It's happening with Mariah Carey with this whole issue.
We've had bad earpieces. We understand.
Yeah, yeah. Now, her team has, of course, blamed Dick Clark Productions for sabotaging her.
That's who Trump blamed, too.
But they're denying it. Dick Clark Productions say that as the premier producer of live television events for nearly 50 years, we pride ourselves on our reputation and longstanding relationship with artists. To suggest that DCP would ever intentionally compromise the success of any artist is defamatory, outrageous, and frankly absurd.
Yeah.
So, look, I just thought this whole thing was kind of fascinating, and I think everyone needs to kind of understand their expectations or lower their expectations of certain artists who have been in the game for as long as Mariah Carey has. I'm not doing this to, you know, make excuses for her, but she just probably can't sing the way that she used to. There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, especially night after night. Look, it seems silly, but she was a great singer. It wears down on you. You can't sing anymore, but people still, like, it's one thing, like, I know that the obvious thing is to say, well, she just wants the money. That's why she's lip syncing, but, like, people want to see her.
People
People love seeing her sing.
It's a performance. It's not just about singing. It's the entire performance. But
she ain't Britney Spears in terms of the dancing or anything. I think she's pretty much standing there singing, but yeah, there's a performance element to it. There's choreography. What bothers me is when, like, 22-year-old Britney Spears is lip syncing at a concert. Now, granted, she's dancing. I know it's tough and everything. The reason I think it took off, though, and I don't blame her, like, you probably should have held it together a little bit. She had a little bit of the Ashley Simpson on SNL going on, is that when people see the sort of, like, the curtain fall down and they see what's actually behind there, it's like when we criticize people in, like, cable news, that if their teleprompter locked up for 10 seconds, they'd be like a deer in the headlights and they wouldn't know what to do. And it's because people suspect that underneath the gloss and the veneer and the preparation, there's nothing really there. And I'm not saying that that's true of Mariah Carey, but when things like this happen, people think that's what they see, is that it's all just smoke and mirrors. There's really nothing to these people. They're actors. They don't really have opinions. Maybe some of them don't really have talent.
yeah. I mean, look, I think to say she didn't have talent.
I'm not saying that.
Yeah, I know you're not saying that. I don't know. I felt really bad for her. And I know it's hard to turn down the money, but if I were in her shoes, I probably would be more hesitant to be, you know, a headline performer at such a huge event. And I'm sure she feels terrible and she's embarrassed, but just come out and say it. I mean, just be honest about the situation. And I know that's also really difficult and that's probably never going to happen. But think about her high-pitched singing for years. You're destroying your vocal cords. Like, that's just the way it goes.
Yeah.
People's voices change. I mean, my voice in the last 10 years has changed considerably. It's still nasally as hell, and I wish it would sound a little better, but your voice changed. You get older, your vocal cords.
It wears out.
Yeah, exactly.
That's why I worry whenever, like, people love it when we go on rants, but after 10, 20 years, it starts to wear you out, and eventually we're not going to be able to talk. I don't think that actually happens.
I'm really curious to see what Jank's voice is going to be like in another 10 years.
The Godfather.
Yeah. But anyway, all right. One final point about this story. There are allegations by an anonymous source indicating that everyone who performed during this event rehearsed, and she refused to do so. She had a stand-in for her rehearsal. I don't know if that's true. Again, it's an anonymous source, but if that is the case, that was a really dumb move.
If you like some of the political stories we do on the show, you're going to love Aggressive Progressive. Get that show just for members at tytnetwork.com/join. That was a good one. That was a good one.